I am so glad that you're here. It seems as though the law of assumption community has really got people so confused, and words are so subjective, and the meanings that we give to them same. We bought into this idea that something is wrong with us, that we're broken, that we need to be fixed, that we need to be healed of all of our wounds and all of our past trauma. And while that can be it can be helpful for us to do those things, they don't really bear any weight on our manifestations, because we know this, right? We're always manifesting. We always have been. It's just now that we're doing it consciously, we seem to think that it's this huge, hard thing that we have to figure out. All right, because there's all these different coaches and creators will come at it from their perspective in different ways, and then they try to tie in psychology and science and quantum physics and metaphysics and all the things, and religion and spirituality, all of it into one. So it's really, we're getting a lot thrown at us. And when we come into this space, we're usually coming from thinking that we are without something. So how do I get this thing? Because what I've been doing hasn't been working. When I refer to identity, it is not a character. It is not a personality. A personality of a human that has certain traits, it has the best self-confidence, knows that they are loved and a top priority and always chosen, and blah, 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 all the I am affirmations that you've probably been told that you need to say. That's not what I'm talking about. Identity is not that. It is not the character. It is not the personality. It is that you are 100% God source awareness. And that can be a lot for some people. And I'm totally assuming that you're coming from the law of assumption, or at least one of those spiritual communities, because how you're speaking, the terms that you're using sound very familiar to me, because I was there. So I get it. We don't need to try to shift. Okay? We don't need to be focusing on specific characteristics of a person, of a version that yourself that you want to be. We don't have to do that. That is, sometimes it's like we're going from point A to Z, and there's a lot of stuff in between there that we think we have to figure out or do in order to achieve this goal, or in order to make it to point Z. What it really is because you are all things, because you are all that there is, all we really need to know, and this is not perceiving an illusion in the 3D. We're looking for proof out here. This is your knowing that you are God, that you are source awareness. That is it. That is all that there is. Okay. With that means that you're going to be aware of all things. So just because you're seeing something that doesn't match up to what you want, that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. That doesn't mean that you have to look at a past that we can't point to now and say, oh, well, I shouldn't have done that. Because I'm sure you've heard, who were you being when that happened? Who were you being? Oh, when the ego hears that, it wants to run with it, and it wants to dissect it and analyze it and intellectualize all of it overly. Okay? Because it's like, I did something wrong. But here's the thing. You did nothing wrong. You, source awareness, did nothing wrong. It's the identification with the ego, with the character, that has us all tripped up. All right? So we're not needing to identify with a character, with a version of yourself that the ego thinks it's creating, that you have to change to be. This is you knowing and understanding that you are God, which is all that there is. That includes all of these desires that you have. All right? That's all it is. And the reason that you're probably getting or feeling these intrusive thoughts is because you're saying that you're shifting into this desired identity, and then it reflects back to you in the 3D But you're looking out to the 3D to tell you who you are, to tell you if you're doing a good job. That's all the ego. That's not you, the real you. Okay? That's the ego evaluating itself. Oh, was I good enough? Did I not think the thoughts today? Did the intrusive thoughts? The intrusive thoughts, those are just thoughts that we're listening to. Those are thoughts that we're identifying with as the ego, as the character. But you don't have to do that because they're not you. You're not even the thinker of your thoughts. They're just appearing. They're just objects appearing in your awareness. It's when we attach ourselves to them, when we grab onto that thought or that intrusive thought because it invokes some sort of emotion within us because we've maybe felt that way before. We heard something or the ego's like, oh yeah. And it gives you, it goes so quickly, right? It gives you all of the evidence in your mind through memory to make you hooked in and believe that thought. And so now you're like, you're sucked in and you don't even realize it's happening because it goes so quickly. All right. But we don't have to go along with that shit. We notice it when it's happening and we're like, oh, okay, that's happening right now. All right. Are you gonna listen to it? Are you going to listen to the ego when it says this is evidence as to why you're not seeing your manifestation? This is evidence as to why you're in the place that you're in because whatever. Like SP blocked you. They're not going to call you back because of the trauma of the abandonment of when you were 9 years old, and that's why. And you still haven't gotten rid of it. You're not over it. So you really need to work on that. No. We have been identifying, all right? We have been identifying with our ego for our entire lives, okay? Because we didn't know. That's the reason, one of the reasons that we came here is to experience the ego and grow from there. And then it makes you throw in your body, right? Because the ego is housed by the body. The body is a creation of the ego, and that includes the mind as well. All right, so now it's going to go, like you said, it makes your body feel anxious, and that is your old awareness. But here's the thing, the ego cannot know awareness. All it can know is itself, which is a personality, a character, all these different versions of yourself that that we were made to believe are a thing. They're not a thing. It's just there's like unconscious or conscious. There's awake, not awake. That's why I say that you're not responsible for the things that the decisions and the choices that you made when you were unconscious, because we didn't know any better. Okay. And there's a shit ton of people walking around in the same. And so that's why we're giving ourselves grace. We're giving others grace, okay? Because we do interact with them on a human level, because that's what we're doing here, right? So I'm not saying to disregard your body, to not listen to it, to not feel your emotions and all of that. I'm saying to disidentify with this ego that has grasped onto your mind, making you believe that you are this character, that you are this human that has all of these defects that need to be fixed, healed, worked on, and they need to be overcome in order for you to properly manifest. It becomes a game to the ego. It's like, oh, I shifted out of the identity and how do I get back in there? How do I stay in there? And the ego's going to want steps. It loves processes. So it's going to say, okay, well, tell me the steps. Like, how do I do this? Just like you asked. And I get it. I totally get it. And that's why I'm here. And that's why myself and so many other creators are on here talking about the I am, because we have seen the community just go completely haywire and people are exhausted, and enough is enough. Your awareness is what you are. Within the awareness is perception. Perception is illusions. So what we're looking at, what we're seeing right now in our 3D is illusions. It's all illusions. The truth is in the knowing. The truth is in I am. The truth is in awareness. When a desire appears in our awareness, that is because it has already been created for us. It is now appearing in our awareness because it's saying, hey, do you want to experience this thing? And you're like, hell yeah, that seems awesome. I want that. Okay. So now you're like, cool. What do I got to do to get it? Because I don't have it. Because I want it. But I thought of it, but I want it. And now the ego's going to run with it and say, well, you got to do all these things and da, 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 before you can see it and feel it and touch it and smell it and taste it and all the things. But that's because the ego lives out of the body mind and it wants to look at it and see it with its eyes. But it can't know the truth. All it knows is the 3D and then all the creations within the mind that it thinks are it. But that's not what it is. Ego lives in perception, which is illusions. Okay. Awareness is knowing. That is truth. So if you want something, you desire something, then you already have it. It's already yours. That is your truth. That is something that you want. Bam, it's done. It's yours. The order has been put in. It's on the way. We don't have to worry about the how and all that shit. All right. You don't have to be worthy of it. You don't have to do anything before you can experience this thing, because we're really all trying to experience these things by taking some sort of action or not taking an action, right? That is just way too complicated. This entire thing, like I said, is like a game to the ego. It can't know awareness. It can't know it because it did not create it. All right. All it knows is the things that it created, which is the experiences, thoughts, emotions, circumstances, the memories. All of that is a creation of the ego. That's all it knows. So that's why it's going to keep giving you evidence of it. Awareness is knowing. It is all of the things, okay? And then we receive it. It appears in our awareness and we're like, okay, yeah, I want to experience that thing. Bing, bang, boom, done. It's when the ego runs with that desire and attaches a story to it, because that's what it does. That's what we want to not do. This video has gone on way longer than I expected, but I really thank you for your comment, because it really is helpful for so many people. So bottom line is, you're already in your desired identity. You are already all of the things that you want. It's your attention. Your attention is divided and you're looking out here for it to tell you who you are, if you've done a good enough job, if you're deserving or worthy or capable of achieving some goal. Once the desire appears in your awareness, that's it. It's done. You don't have to worry about intrusive thoughts that come in, because they're not yours. You don't have to worry about the stories that you may have from the past, that the memories keep resurfacing or these intrusive thoughts keep coming in. They're not yours either. And they don't create unless we give them attention. They don't create unless we believe in them and identify with them. So we don't need to be living in this ego identity that houses all of the characters, all of the versions that you're trying to get rid of. They can exist, and when we're saying no to them, we're rejecting them, which means we're rejecting all that there is. We know that they are a possible reality, right? Because we've lived some of them, but we don't choose them anymore. So it comes down to where our choice is and where our attention is. Is our attention focused on us as awareness, as source? Or is our attention on all that other shit that's wrapped up in the ego identity? So that's where it is. There's not one right way, not wrong way to do this. It's you redirecting yourself back to remembering, back to recognizing who and what you are, which is source awareness. It's not the character. It's not one version of yourself that you want to be, because you know what? That's going to change. That's going to change. That the more that you practice this, the more that you're understanding who and what you truly are. All right. So we're not going to lock ourselves in on one specific version of ourselves. And that's so freeing. So we're going to just redirect ourselves. Okay. Where I am source, I am God. Right now I have everything. I have it all. I have it all. I don't have to wait for it to come in because I already have it. I've already experienced it within. When it shows up in my awareness in the 3D, great, wonderful. And we move on with our day. Now, when the intrusive thoughts come in, we're going to say, hey, oh yeah, no, that's not true. And we're just going to say, oh, intrusive thought. Oh, thought, whatever. We don't even have to name it. We don't have to do any of that. But at the beginning, when you're getting used to this, it kind of helps to be the observer of it so that you're building this muscle to recognize when your attention is on source or your attention is on the ego. And that's all that is. It's a practice. And give yourself grace through this, because it's not going to be 100% perfect according to the ego. All right? You are 100% perfect and amazing, as Danny says, when it comes to awareness, because that's just the facts. Give yourself grace through this. Practice it. It's not a thing that you have to worry about doing. You don't have to set a timer. You don't have to do any of that shit, because what are you going to do in your day-to-day life anyway? We don't need to be doing that. It is when it appears in your awareness, and say if you do run off with it, if you run off with the ego, okay? That's fine. The second that you notice that that's what's happening, you're like, oh yeah, okay, none of that matters. It doesn't matter. I am who I am. I am all that there is. It doesn't matter any of that stuff that happens. So you just remind yourself, okay? I really hope that helps.